Hello. I've just celebrated the first Vespers of St Gregory the Great, and there are two things we know particularly about Gregory the Great, and that is first of all his cataloguing of the life of St Benedict, which of course has been very fruitful for us who are affiliated with the Order of St Benedict, both professed monks and oblates like myself. So we're very grateful to St Gregory for detailing the life of St Benedict. We also have St Gregory to thank for the mission to England in the late 6th century. And while it's not St Augustine of Canterbury's day, that's in May, nonetheless we do have St Gregory again to think about the seeing the Angle children, the children from the Angles, and so that they're not angles but angels, and therefore setting up the whole business of sending a mission to England. Of course, what we know now is that England was, I suppose in one way you might say, post-Christian, because back then, because the Roman Empire, of course, had collapsed. But there were still Christians about. The Christian religion, well, we don't know precisely when the Christian religion entered the British Isles. What we do know is that certainly that it's here by the 3rd century. You have the great martyr, St Albans, for example, and you have bishops at the Council of Arles. But we certainly know that when the Roman Empire left the British shores, the infrastructure crumbled, and Christianity started to crumble with it. So what do we know? We do know then that what St Augustine did, what St Gregory did, is to look at this remote outpost of the Roman Empire and seek for its conversion or reconversion. The fact that British Christianity has affected the global church is quite clear. For example, the business of confession. Confession in the Roman Empire was done done publicly. You had to confess your sins in front of everybody, and then get a penance imposed upon you, like some kind of like a law court, really. What the Irish bishops did was to introduce the idea of private confession. And that caught on, and that's what we have available today. That's what we understand with the sacrament of confession. And I've been asked to speak about confession, and I'll do so at a different time. So the British Christianity has played its part on the global church, and that is why I think the idea of Anglican as an adjective is really rather important. Of course, there are claims on what type of Christianity Anglican Christianity is. There have been claims on it from all over the place. The Orthodox like to say, well, since it was St Aristobulus who brought Christianity to the British Isles, that Christianity was originally Orthodox. And of course, with the Roman mission in 597, the Roman Catholics like to say that Anglicanism Christianity should be Roman Catholic. And of course, there are other wonderful political things, such as in the 13th century, when King John, in order to end his excommunication, had to bequeath the whole of Britain to the whole of England that he ruled to the papacy. So it wasn't technically under the kings of England. Well, that's actually there in Magna Carta as well. When it talks about that the English Church being free, it's not talking about being free from Roman Catholicism. It's actually talking about being free from British politics. That's what it's talking about, and people don't get that sometimes. Indeed, I think some of the reformers tried to use Magna Carta to say, well, it means being free from foreign control, i.e. the papacy. That's politics coming to it. So there have been lots of claims upon the Christianity here in England. But the Christianity here in England has always been unique. And I suppose that's true of all other places. I mean, for example, Spanish Christianity, you've only got to look at the famous Spanish biretta, and there's some wonderful expression of Christianity there that's unique to Spain, and it's got a history there, hasn't it? Because Spain was once ruled by the Islamic states way back when. Until it was the Moors, as they were called, were driven out by Isabella and Ferdinand. So Spain's got its own Christianity. German Christianity, well, Germany's always been a little bit on the unpredictable side, because not only was it for a long time very Arian, but when it did become fully Orthodox, there are lots of instances of the German Holy Roman Emperors being at feud with the papacy, and of course the Reformation came out of Germany. So, and furthermore, I think some of the more progressive quarters of Roman Catholicism are coming out of Germany right now. So Germany's always been unpredictable with regard to Christianity. So British Christianity, it is unique, and it has got a flavour of its own, and that's why I've always called myself Anglican. I don't call myself an Anglican, because I think that's got a different meaning to it. An Anglican, in my eyes, is one who accepts the Protestantism of the Church of England, namely the homilies, which are shot through with Calvinism and are actually against the Seventh Ecumenical Council and the 39 Articles, which again are largely Calvinist influenced, and also contain the necessity of believing in justification by faith alone, which I've said before is somewhat problematic. So I've always said that I'm Anglican, and it's really people like St Gregory, perhaps even the legendary St Aristobulus, and others who have come in. St Osmond is another of my favourite saints. He's the one who brings together from what he regarded as ancient tradition in his time. He brings together the liturgy of Sarum, which is again very unique to Britain and to England in particular, Old Salisbury. You've also got the Welsh Rite, the Bangor Rite, you've got the York Rite, which are all, believe it or not, they're all Gregorian based on the Gregorian Canon. So we're back to Gregory again, back to St Gregory. We have a lot of history in England, and it colours our theology. So which means that we read everything in a particular fashion. It means that, and particularly for Anglican Catholics, where we don't hold to a papacy, while we can respect the Bishop of Rome, and indeed we did have an English Bishop of Rome, Nicholas Breakspear, Pope Adrian IV, while we still have that sort of, I like to think, nodding acquaintance. The Reformation was a very turbulent time, but I hope now that we're beginning to get a nodding acquaintance with Rome and a nodding acquaintance with Constantinople. And I like to think that the branch of Christianity that has come out of the British Isles as a result of the work of the ancient saints brings with it the sort of spirituality that you can still see in the Orthodox Church. We share a fragment of that with the Orthodox Church. We share a fragment of the great reasoning of Roman Catholicism. We had the universities, Oxford and Cambridge, born out of the wonderful scholasticism which came with the Roman Church. And we also, I think this is what colours it, a certain practicality. And I will be talking in the future about some of the ideas of the practicality that comes with being Anglicanism. It is somewhat unique, and it's something that the Church of England, I think, has taken far too far. It's taken its pragmatism and watered itself down. And as a result, we have lost a rich tradition for the sake of being modern and accepting modern morality, which is not in keeping with the constant morality of the Church that runs through it from the beginning. We have to be careful. We really do, with each of those three things, which is why we need to bind them together. Reason, practicality and spirituality. We bind them together. I think the Anglican Catholic Church tries to do that very, very well. We might be small, but I think within our remit, we can still continue what St Gregory wanted to happen way back in the 6th century. So God bless you. God bless you if you are trying to understand British history with all its complexities and colours. God bless you that you may see God's work through the British Isles. God bless you if you are struggling to deal with some of the more modern tendencies which we worry are departing from the traditional church. God bless you that we may find the way through and affirm that which is to be affirmed and deny that which is to be denied, and that we may bring forth Christ into this country once more. And God bless you that together with St Gregory the Great, with St Aristobulus and all the other wonderful saints of the British Isles, we may stand together and worship God. God bless you. Please pray for me.